You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. You are watching Talking Heads, and I am Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Woo, I'm still coming off of that last show we just had, Life's Amazing Journey, where we had an incredible sex coach and talked all about sexuality. So I hope that you're working on getting your sexy back, because I know that I definitely am, but that's for another show. This show is all about presentations from experts from around the world who come and grace our stage to give 15-minute lessons of their expertise to help make us better personally and or professionally. Today we have two dynamos in the house, two powerhouse women who are going to be here sharing their knowledge and wisdom. Let us welcome Caroline Heward and Daphne Diluce. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Nice to see you both. I don't know. I'm all pumped up. I've got all this energy. How about the two of you? Are excited for this Friday?
I sure am.
I think that high energy is so important, and I notice that people actually tap into high energy when they're doing things that they love.
Very true. Very true. Caroline, I want to welcome you and give you some type of trophy. I haven't figured it out yet, but how many presentations are you doing this week?
Well, I started on Wednesday, so Wednesday, Thursday, and 2 today, and I've got some coming up next week, so I've been a bit on.
And Daphne, you always come with some incredible presentation for us that helps us take our business and our life to the next level. So thank you both for being here. Going to start off with just spotlighting each of you, and I'd love for you to share how you got started in your work and what's next for you. Caroline, I'm going to start with you.
Hello, everyone. I got started way back in 2000, and I was a corporate girl then, and I was in marketing and PR, and my dad passed away. I didn't realize I was in a depression, and then I started looking for answers, and then I started on a journey of self-discovery, working with the chakras, and 21 years later, I'm here. I've been practicing and working with the chakras for 21 years, and I solved my own stress, and that's what I'm here to do, to help everyone else solve theirs.
Lovely. Thank you. Thanks for your transparency. Daphne Diluce, how did you get started down your career path, and what's next for you?
Well, where shall I start? Well, hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I got started at 4 years old when I was a little girl in Cornwall, because that's where I come from, and in Cornwall in England, right at the tip, the bottom, where you can't go you drive any further, you drive into the sea. That's where I'm from. And I used to live in a tiny little village, and I used to sit on the steps of these very quaint little Cornish cottages, and people used to say, "What are you doing?" And I'd say, "I'm designing." And what are you going to be when you're growing up? A designer. So that's where I started, in Cornwall, on a step, seeing the world in a different way. But I've always been a designer, even before anybody knew what that was. So I started my career in Cornwall, then in London, then in Germany, then in Paris, then back to London. And here we are today. So, and it's gone from starting off with design, going into branding, going into film, going into design and build, going into film, going into brand, and here we are today.
Thank you, Daphne. Excited for both of your presentations today. So, Caroline, I've been relating to the chakras, and sometimes I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to see that resonates with me right away for the different chakras? So I think what was the color for me? Orange, I think.
Yes.
And yes, orange and a little bit of the green heart.
Orange is the color of the sexual chakra. And green is the color of the heart chakra.
Okay, there it is. So, what chakra are you presenting today?
I'm going into the brow chakra, so it's going to be all about wisdom. And it's, in fact, because I'm going to be closer to you, you're going to be able to see me much more. And it's really interesting that I'm in the brow chakra, and it's all about seeing more than what you really think there is.
Thank you. And Daphne, what will you be presenting today?
Well, hard-hitting sales and marketing with a difference. It's to tell everybody how to actually use their website, how to find customers, and what marketing tools that they need, condensed.
Okay, the abbreviated version. We like that. And you'll be back to expound next time. Okay, Caroline, are you ready to present?
I sure am.
All right, Daphne, I'll go backstage and then we will join you. So here's your presentation. And would you like the clock? You don't need it, right?
No, I'm cool.
Okay. Have a good
Transformational chakra healing journey. This is the 6th chakra that we're looking at today, and that's the brow chakra. So the brow chakra is also known as Ajna. It is the 6th chakra up, and it's the center of our intuition, our wisdom, and it's associated with our light and illumination. The brow chakra Sanskrit name Ajna means to preserve, perceive, command, and beyond wisdom. It is the center of our perception, and it is the seat of our intuition. The wisdom also relates to moving into our higher consciousness. It captures our worldview, and it is the ability to be able to see the truth amongst the lies. It transcends the material world. And it's an inner knowing known as claircognizance. Not that you read something, not that somebody told you, not that you saw. It's something that you know without any understanding where it came from. It's an inner knowing. It's called claircognizance. The brow chakra is indigo or purple. It's also known as the third eye, and it has a learning to have a higher perspective. So it's about moving out of the thinking conversational mind and having a much higher perspective. It's also about our insight into ourselves and others, because if we have insight to ourselves, others follow. It transcends duality. Masculine, feminine, right, wrong, good, bad, up, down. It transcends everything that has the duality. It's driven by openness and imagination. So the pituitary gland is the gland for the brow chakra. The saboteur is illusion when we move into a place of fantasy or hallucinating, especially in our times right now. The element is light, and the color is indigo, purple. It means command and perceive, and the location is literally right at the bridge of the nose, in between the eyes, and in between, right at the bridge here, in between the eyebrows and the eyes. And the seed mantra is Om, Om. So let's look at some imbalances, some of the symptoms of an imbalanced brow chakra. It's a fear of truth, so living an illusion. So when people take recreational substances, for instance, or alcohol, there's something that they're running away from, hiding from, or not willing to look at. And so those kinds of things are an escape route. And so we'll be living in an illusion And the reason that people take substances is because they are using it as an escape route, which creates an illusion. The mind is really, really cloudy, and you have a lack of clarity when there's an imbalance in the brow chakra. Now, you might know things, and certainly when I was in corporate, there was a standing situation where people would withhold information, and they would withhold wisdom and insights. This is about the brow chakra when it's in balance. It's about sharing, wanting to share your gifts and your knowledge. The mental drive is a dominance. And so there'll be people, when there's an imbalance in the brow chakra, overly thinking and overly analyzing, which will create sleep issues because the brain does not rest and the off switch hasn't been found. And so when you go to bed at night and you lie down, the physicality of the exhaustion goes because the blood flows freely down from the head, feet, down to the feet, toes. But you haven't found the off switch. The mind is still going. And because the mind is still going, there will be sleep issues. And in this mental dominance, there will be a tendency to be focused on past or future. Now, what do I mean by that? We'll be focusing on what's happened, what we said, what we didn't say, conversations, things that happened. And that creates depression, also stress. But when we think about future things, we're thinking about what about this, what about that? And if I do this, that might happen. If I do this, that might happen. And we're actually not in the moment of the moment that we're in. So the mental dominance is that you're either in the past or in the future, but the place of the brow chakra is in the moment that you're in the very present second of the moment that you're in. And because the mind is in overdrive and has a severe mental alertness, it moves you into headaches, migraines, as an imbalance, because there's just, the head literally aches. There's just so much thought. The head just has to switch off, to the severity of migraine, where when people have migraines, literally they go into a room, close the curtains, and they lie down because it's the only thing that can stop the mind. They close their eyes, they lie down in a darkened room because the mind keeps going. It can create, for some people, teeth problems, teeth grinding, tinnitus, which is a ringing in the ear. There'll be an over-tiredness because when you wake up in the morning, because you didn't switch out, the mind will be tired because it's still been going. It didn't rest. And so tiredness on top of the mind still going and still being alert will create some challenges. Eyes, cataract. What is it you don't want to see? Because there is so much you can see when you're not hiding in the thinking conversational mind. Eye infections. And because there is a lack of sleep, there will be a tiredness, and bags will create. Color blindness, ears, blocked or infections. So it's really not good when we close off the brow chakra. And when the imbalance is there, it will feel very, very draining. It will feel like you're not living, you're existing. You're going from one aspect, one event, one situation, one thing that you have to do to another, and never actually really experiencing from the sensory perspective of the five senses. And when you are in the sensory, this is where the brow chakra comes into play. So the challenges of an imbalanced root chakra is a desire for the person to dominate, because all there is the things, the doing. And because there is a desire to dominate, that will also bring in a difficulty in taking responsibility for what they want to achieve. And so people with a very high level of an imbalance in the brow chakra will probably be very successful in terms of running large corporate organizations or large businesses where they're essentially telling others what to do. So they'll be extraordinary managers and leaders, but they will have difficulty in taking full responsibility, and they will place that on others. There'll be a self-absorbedness, and they will have challenges with new ideas and opinions of someone else, of others, because their mind is so full of their own ideas and their own thinking that there is no room for someone else to get in with the ideas. They will have a problem concentrating. And so learning new things and retaining new information will be difficult. And that problem in concentrating means that they will do some things and some things really well, but they will forget things really easily. You have to remind them because there's so much going on in their mind. They can't focus because there's too much. So I want to look at some of the foods that are going to feed the brow chakra. Purple foods, foods that support the brain, such as nuts, seeds, blackberries, blueberries, plums, purple grapes, even red grapes, aubergine, purple broccoli. I bought some of that today because I knew that I was doing this. Purple carrots and goji berries. So let's look at some affirmations for the brow chakra. I seek absolute truth. The person with a deficient or an imbalanced brow chakra will be looking at everything. And because the mind is so busy, they won't see the truth so easily. I trust my intuition. When the mind is really busy, there is no room for the intuition. I can manifest my vision. This is where, when the brow chakra is really clear, you literally think about something, you're so clear that you can see it and you can express that to others, and other people will help you create your vision. I open myself to know my inner guidance. This is a really key one for the brow chakra because we can get lost in the books, the reading, the watching things to get the information that we think we need. And actually, if we worked all through the chakras and cleared everything from the root chakra up, by the time we get to the brow chakra, we're so clear that we can feel calm in the inner guidance of the brow chakra. I am now using my intuition and insight. And this is encompassing everything. Because if you seek the truth and you trust your intuition and you manifest your vision and you open yourself to your inner guidance, you are using your intuition and your insight. I'm Caroline Heward. My whole focus is about the mind and body connection, how the mind and body connects and what happens to the person physically, emotionally, mentally, behaviorally when there's an imbalance. I'm the Harley Street stress expert. You can reach me on No More Stress at live.co.uk. Number +44 7523 120 189. I offer a free telephone consultation where I look at 1 or 2 symptoms and I will identify the root cause, and that will obliterate your stress. In awareness, you move into a state of releasing emotions and everything becomes amazing for you. You will integrate and process what you didn't process when the event happened, and everything becomes incredibly amazing. Thank you.
Well done. Well done. I could listen to your voice all day. It's so soothing.
That's the idea.
Outstanding. So I don't want to just volunteer information, but I believe there are some people in my life who have struggles with that, with the brow chakra. So I took some pictures of the screen. I'm going to be sending it to them. And I want to turn to Daphne. I also realized I was reviewing some things. My issues are with the solar plexus chakra. That's where I have all of my issues, pretty much. I'm not saying there's not more. But Daphne, over to you. What are your takeaways from the presentation?
Well, I'm a chakra girl myself, so I love it. And I was actually just recalibrating my presentation as well, because what's very, very important is actually to get in tune with with yourself. So, and I was just thinking, well, today I showed up to do like brand and business, which I'm asked to do, but my colleague here is totally in the spiritual realm. She's into stress busting and communicating mind, body, heart, and soul. So I'm going to flow with Caroline, and I'm going to kind of take that lovely soft voice and that energy and actually integrate it with what I'm going to say. But for the people at home that are listening, I hope that you watch this over and over again, because Caroline's words are golden. And I say a lot when I'm giving my presentations, don't forget you're human. It's all about your humanness. So, and I also am becoming more aware how important it is to have a heart-centric business. Because if you don't have a heart-centric business and you're just in your mind, in the brow chakra that's going crazy and not balanced and doesn't see the truth, you're going to have some very strange CEOs and some very, very stressful work environments. So I do encourage everybody to sign up, follow Caroline, and do the chakra healing.
Thank you, Daphne. Thank you. Thank you both. All right, we are going to take a break, and we're going to hear from some of our sponsors, and then we'll be right back, and Daphne will have you go forward with your presentation. All right, thank you so much. Here we go.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our ministry alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hi, welcome back to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. You're watching Talking Heads. I'm here with 2 of our expert powerhouse dynamo women, Daphne Diluce and Caroline Heward. In our first segment, Caroline presented on the Brow Chakra. And in our next segment, Daphne Diluce is going to switch. She's pivoting from what she was speaking on, and she's going to follow Caroline and talk a little bit more about the spiritual realm, correct?
Well, I'm going to talk about what I was going to talk, but I'm going to fuse it with spirituality. So it harmonizes with the group. Not that, I suddenly use all my powered up life force chakras and dominate. That's not what this is about. Harmonizing, balancing, and working as a dream team.
Like a beautiful song, lovely harmony.
Yeah.
Okay, Caroline and I are going to go backstage. Daphne, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, take it away. Have a great lesson.
So, hello everybody. So this is a lesson on actually marketing tools and what you need to get customers and sales. But as we just spoken, we are going to be talking spirituality too, because actually it's the energy and things that make the magic. So I'm going to start off today my presentation with a beautiful rose. And I want you to just really think about that. How often do you see such a beautiful rose? I've actually just picked this up out of my garden, and it smells absolutely wonderful. So what I want to tell you about with the roses, what has a rose got to do with sales? And what is that about? Well, what I'd like everyone to do is do an experiment with me and have a rose on your office desk, and then remember that your business has many, many layers, just like these beautiful petals. There's lots and lots and lots and lots of different layers to doing things, okay? So the first thing is, be wonderful to your customers. Love them. Treat them like rock stars, because the right ones are, and they're so valuable. Now, when you've got a wonderful client in front of you and you can see that they have a problem that you can solve, you have to be able to identify what you're offering them, what your value exchange is. Are you selling roses? It's so interesting. I'm holding this up and it looks like a brick wall, as there isn't any brick walls here. There's only in my studio. I've got magical roses, obviously. Anyway, but the thing is, this rose is actually a lovely, lovely symbol, because there's so many layers to a business, and you can just do one petal at a time. And there's also so many layers to you. So it's very, very important actually to get into state. And with Caroline's work, it's beautiful because it actually shows you to actually get a hold of your stress, or understand what you're stressing about, or what is causing you anxiety. You actually have to slow down. So we're going to just take it a little bit slower with this presentation. So the first thing to do is not confuse your client. Okay, so you've got your client there, and he or she needs to know what you do. Now, I've had somebody this week say, oh, my website, it's not doing this and it's not doing that. And I'm saying, oh, let me look at this website. Anyway, I checked it out, and it was a beautiful website, and it was really well put together. It was branded. It had all the right things. But the missing link was the client wasn't doing anything with the website. Now, websites aren't built just to sit there somewhere out there and for somebody to fall across them. This is what I mean about loving your clients. You've got to have a relationship with them and be interactive. So how do you do this? A wonderful brochure saying what you do, where they can find you, and how much things cost. You don't have to give them all the costs. You can say, we have special offers, $99 for, $99 for 6 months worth of roses. We deliver every Monday morning, for example, because then the person actually understands what you do, and they have everything in front of their fingertips. And another thing, this communication about, how do you communicate with your clients? Now, this is where I'm going to invite everybody actually to think about a marketing plan like a rose. Okay, I still don't know why there's a brick wall. It's fascinating. Anyway, magical rose. But I want you to think about a rose, because it takes all these different petals to put together a marketing plan. So first of all, you have to start with your offering. What are you selling and how much is it? The next thing is, who is your customer and where they are? The next thing, what is your brand message? Do people understand what you actually do? Because you can talk about a subject, but you don't understand how you can use that subject. For example, somebody might make amazing sculptures, but you don't understand whether you just have to buy a finished product or whether they would sculpt you. You have to be really, really clear in your offering. Now, when you actually make a plan, so you make the plan before you start anything, even before you start your business. And when you do that, and you can see things step by step by step, and then you take each part of the puzzle, just like your rose petals. Take one petal at a time and organize it. And then if you think about, if we put all these petals together, it would make the rose. Okay, which kind of back to front nature. But I wanted to give you these mental symbols, because that's another thing about symbols. Symbols sell, because the way that the brain is made, we absorb image. And this is why you have to be very, very careful to make sure that all your branding is beautifully designed, the copy is beautifully written. not too much copy, because if you have like loads of copy, then your offering is right at the bottom of the page. I can tell you now, after 2 seconds, no one's bothering. So the thing is, so it's really shows you how art and design and branding is so important. So I would like you to ask yourself a few questions. The first question is, are you making the money every month that you would like? That's the first question. The second question, do you have a marketing plan? The third question, are you capable of making a marketing plan? The fourth question, are your goods and services lined up and easy to find where the people are that want them? And then the fifth question, how much time and money have you got to invest in your value exchange? Now, when you answer yourself all those questions, you will actually create a natural roadmap. You will know what you have to do. So I encourage everybody to actually take more time in actually strategy, figuring out what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. And then I would like to go back to being a human being. It's very, very important that when you're starting your daily work or in the middle of your work, it's very, very important to actually get into the right state. And sometimes we don't know what that right state is. But when you just today were listening to Caroline, and she's kind of like putting you into a relaxed state and making you focus on how your mind was working and how your chakras working in your head, automatically you're going to be in a much more calmer state. Then, for example, if my partner says, get it done and have you done it, and he works at 1 million miles an hour, I wouldn't be able to do my work in that state. So I have to change gears. But it's the same as like all of us. It's the awareness to be aware of the state that we're in. And if we find ourselves not in the right state to deal with our little rose petal, that piece of our business we're going to do in that moment in time, it's a good idea to focus on your rose, ask yourself some questions, and then get ready to work, get ready to follow through. And another thing too, it's very important, whoever you're working with is finding out what their workflow looks like. Like, for example, I don't look at my emails till probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't ever look at social media probably till very late in the evening, because I have all the distractions switched off, because I'm constantly making content for people. So that's really, really diving deep, focused, concentrated work. And I would never be able to complete all the things I do if I did. So it's a good idea. So to check out with your colleagues, because they might be completely opposite to me. They might say, oh, you know what? I'm on social media all the time. One little tick and I'll see you. I'm on that all the time. And if that's the case, that's wonderful. But there's a lot about actually syncing up with the people that you're sharing your work life with and your mind, body, and heart and soul with. Anyway, I believe in heart-centered businesses. I believe in dream teams. I love to work with people who are open to having their heart open and using mind, body, heart, and soul in conscious living on purpose, doing great things, making the world a better place. Anyway, I hope this little presentation today has given you some good ideas how to get organized and what to do to get those fabulous brochures out to your clients, your wonderful websites under their nose, and show up and walk your own walk and walk your own talk. And that's enough for me today. Thank you.
Well done. Well done. You do have a magical rose there. I was thinking, oh, she doesn't have brick in her house.
And I don't have a green screen. This is like a real studio. But it's like,
yes,
I'm holding up the rose.
You know what I think it might be? I think it might be if you go on Zoom and maybe you don't have to have a virtual background. Maybe you have like the brick wall as one of the backgrounds.
Oh no, I don't have anything else open, and I don't have a brick
so
background.
Well, this is special rose.
It's a magical rose. You see, it just shows everyone I've got magical powers. Brand clever is really magic.
I liked how you use the rose analogy to your business, because that really makes a lot of sense. And I also like how you shared that not everybody is accessible and available the same way. So you have to really look at how your customers like to be contacted. What's a great way to engage with them? So well done.
Thank you very much.
And I also thought the comments or the discussion about the website is really important, because I know as a business owner, we put a lot of time and money into the website. We think, oh, they'll just come. They're coming. They're going to find it, and they're going to start buying and engaging, and that's actually not the case. And I think also, if you're not very active with your website, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think that your search engine optimization starts to go lower and lower, because there's nothing new that's being put onto the site.
Very true. And also the thing is, people, a big tip for people out there, a lot of people put so much energy into social media, and they're building their businesses on social media. And this is very dangerous, because if the T's and C's in social media change overnight, you can be wiped and you can have done nothing wrong. And not only that, a lot of social media isn't even run by humans. You can't even talk to anybody. And this is why websites are so valuable, because when you put your content on your website and you're constantly uploading and you're constantly changing the banners, putting special offers, because this is your home, this is your shop. You should be interacting with people, and your customers, you should be interacting with them every week to remind that they're there. And the thing is, for example, like, if you don't mind me, Caroline, using your business as an example, you know, it's such a beautiful subject. I mean, who would mind getting a lovely newsletter saying, tip of the week from Caroline, you know, get a purple rose for your, can you get purple rose? I'm sure you can, some of it, or get an orange rose, you know, let's get sexy all week, whatever she's going to say. Yeah. Or howl at the moon, and, you know, with some water, or whatever the great things anyone can do. And then she gives tips of the week, and then she's got a little special offer. And then as the clients get used to this wonderful tip of the week, which actually feeds their soul, it's going drip, drip, drip. It's reminding them that she's there. And then they say, oh, they meet someone, you're so stressed out, you need to go and see Caroline. Yeah. Yeah. Or USA Global TV. Wow. Do you see what's in the newsletter this week? There's, you know, I didn't know that knits were in fashion so much. I can get all my knits out the cupboard, just buy some new boots and a new hat. I'm on point. Yeah, these are talking points, but it's about interacting and having relationships with people, and not to be afraid to talk to people. And anybody out there that's actually business is a bit flat, don't worry about it. Get your phone out, ring everybody and ask how they are. If you make 300 calls, you will have some sales, and you won't even be selling. It's really easy. How are you? It's
something we've gotten away from, really, in a lot of ways, is reaching out.
Too busy on social media. They put everything into social media. And also too, not only that, social media is highly addictive. You keep getting a dopamine hit for every like you get. I'm sorry, mate, but that's not going to bring you money. You need money. And also, you get money when you help somebody, when you give service. You help somebody, and then they go, wow, we love you to help me. Here you go, there's some money. Or you help me, there you go. And it's a value exchange. So we've really got to get grounded, get our feet out there on the grass, and connect with yourself being a human, and then connect with others. But the thing is, it's very important with these websites that you actually have to have a marketing campaign plan. You have to have a plan of what you're going to do with the website, not just have this website there. So, you know, get your pens and papers out, ladies and gentlemen. Get your rose on your desk, make your plan, And also it's such a fantastic opportunity because there are so many people out there where you can shoot them an email and say, I'd really like to know more about this. And some wonderful person will appear on Zoom and actually talk to you and tell you amazing things. I had some dynamite meetings this morning when I made inquiries for a couple of things. Oh my gosh, what did I learn? I learned so much, and I got new business contacts, and I learned so many things that can help my clients now. Yeah? And that's by talking to people. So please, ladies and gentlemen, go and see Caroline, sort out your chakras, do a gig on USA Global TV, and talk to people, and then we'll get the world moving in the right way.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Daphne. Caroline, would you like to add anything?
Yes, I would. Your perception and your share about the website being the interactive place. Most people use websites as a shop window that's not interactive. And it's like how long we've been established. Aren't we amazing? Aren't we wonderful? This is who we are and how long we've been around. I would honestly say, from what you've said and my perspective, is that people aren't buying your brand in specifically how wonderful you are. They're buying how can you solve my problem.
Exactly, but that comes in the brand, and I'm really happy that you said that, because the thing is, I would say probably 90% of people, from my perception, because everybody's perception is different, they don't have a brand, and they have something put together, but that's not a brand, because what should be on the website right in the middle of it is like talking to the client to solve the problem.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
3 seconds. So what you're talking about is kind of like really brand design, brand messaging, which is different to website, but it's so important. And you're right, it's so important. And the thing is, another thing with a lot of the websites, the copy is off whack, and also what I used to be a lot, I do have good manners, I do promise, but I used to be a lot, I'm not so patient as I used to be. So when people used to want their branding, say, well, I like purple, so we're having purple, and I like yellow. It doesn't matter what you like, it matters what your client likes. You have to speak to your client, you're solving their problems, and you have to identify that in 3 seconds. So you're absolutely right.
I do love this.
This is good, but it's no good unless we take action and actually update the websites and have interaction. And also, when websites first came out, yes, they could be your shop window and they could sit there and look pretty, but social media is changing that. So we have to kind of look beyond what is and try to actually be leading edge instead of trying to play catch up.
Great discussion.
I totally agree with you. It is a relational ship, and it is a conversation. And many websites aren't like that. And it has to be open for people to come in and have that conversation with you. And I'm going to take one of your tips away that I do need to do is make calls, because I don't make calls. I just sit and wait for the phone to ring. It does ring. I'm sure that it would be even better if I made calls, because I do say, how are you? So that's a massive thing, because I just kind of sit here and the phone rings. Sometimes it doesn't ring. So it's really, good.
I think the thing is, it's about who we are and who we are growing into. And when Jacalyn said, how did you start and where you're going? Oh, I told you where I started. I didn't tell you where I'm going. But the thing is, where I'm going every day is to be a better version of myself every day, grow and improve. And with all that I am, is to actually be of service, channel it into things where they can be really useful. Okay. And that's like really, really important. So I think before we start on anything to help anyone, we've got to check in with ourselves and just keep it simple. And if we just have this beautiful rose and just say, well, this is a little rose, these are my layers, and I'm just going to focus on being the best layer, and each part of the business, make that as beautiful as I can. Just follow the rules of the nature. I think that is the way to go. And I think if you always think about what is it like to be on the receiving end of you? Yeah. What is it like? Would you like you to show up and give you a phone call? Big. Wow. That's a lot to think about. Be gracious, be kind.
Very true. Wow, lots to think about from both of you. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. You're looking very snazzy today, with your lovely, like, and your glossed hair and your little satin dress there.
Well, we had this sex coach on today, so I thought, well, I'm going to get my sexy on, and then I didn't have time to change. So,
wow, it's working. Nice, sexy look.
Thank you. It goes really well with this green screen. So, oh my gosh,
I've got one question for Caroline, though, which I'm fascinated by. So, you know, with your voice, you kind of relaxed us all and hypnotized us into aligning ourselves. So
how did you know what I was doing? I actually talk about it being transformational. It's not just about this.
Yeah, but I'm a very awake person and I'm very, very sensitive. So I absorb this thing. I'm a seer. So I want to know, when the wonderful people come to see you, whether they call you or you call them, or somebody pushes them through the door, what do your treatment looks like? What do you do to them when they show up?
Even if they haven't shown up in terms of physically, they reach out generally because there's a problem. So usually they can't sleep, they have a relationship breakdown, there's been a bereavement, so there's a problem. And they talk about their problem. I need about 5 minutes, if that, of understanding what their problem is. And what I do is I identify the root cause. So because we're in repeating patterns, you know, we'll feel the same experiences many times. Different people, different situations, many times we experience the same things. And so I find the root cause of the earliest recollection of that experience. And what happens is there is then a release of emotions and feelings from that initial time, which could be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And it could be a bereavement, you know, when they were a child that they never handled. And literally the emotions release, and then they feel different. They feel calm, they feel more peaceful, and they actually feel their body. And so every single person is different. There's no textbook. You know, I've been doing this work for 21 years, and essentially it doesn't matter what the problem is. I have no idea what's going to come and sit in my chair and what's going to come up. But usually the escape route is the mind. And so I take them out of their mind. And you're absolutely right. All of my presentations, the series of presentations, is addressing all of the different issues within those chakras. And I'm taking them on a transformational healing journey in the lesson. And so, yes, everything is deliberate. I say it's transformational. They are healing lessons to bring up into their awareness. And then when they become aware, that's when transformation and healing occurs, integration of what they didn't handle in terms of feelings and emotions. And then they feel peaceful.
Wonderful. Well, I'm glad I asked the question.
Caroline, I shared a little bit about this with you, I think it was yesterday, the day before, but I've been really thinking a lot about the chakras. And as you know, I have 3 autoimmune illnesses, diseases, and the one's pretty bad, ulcerative colitis. And I thought about when it was the worst and what was going on in my life. And so there's sort of that struggle between going to see specialists and being put on these drugs that are very expensive, and they have side effects, or they don't have side effects and they work, then they stop working. And I'm kind of in a place of being open to thinking that I have the power to heal myself. And I don't know if that's too aggressive or delusional. I'm not really sure, but I kind of feel like if if I'm being true, you know, and having stuffed feelings down over the years, certain things that happened because I didn't have the time to actually process because this was going on or that was going on or this was expected of me or I couldn't tell anybody, whatever the case might be. You just keep shoving it down and then the body reacts because it's all shoved down. So anyway, I'm in a heightened state of awareness, and I'm feeling like if I were to address the things that have happened in the past, and it might directly be related to my health, and then therefore I might be on a better journey, if that makes any sense at all.
It does, because in a state of awareness, when you become aware, you become witness. And in that awareness, the emotions and feelings of that situation, event, time come up. And it's the pink elephant in the room. You can't avoid it. It's there. You can turn your back, but it's still there, and you know it's there. And so naturally, you start to process the feelings and emotions. There might be anger, there might be sadness. It doesn't matter what it is. But whatever it is will come up. And you don't kind of have to work at it, because in that state of awareness, you feel different. And those push down emotions come up, and you start to process them in whatever way is right for you. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if you talk it all through, if you write a letter, if you go and read magazines, it doesn't matter. But what I can tell you is, and I'm not a punching bag for the medical world at all, because for many people it works, but the pharmaceutical world, it keeps you locked in the symptom. And it doesn't ever address the root cause. And so one symptom creates another symptom with the chemical reaction in the body. And yes, we do have the power to heal. Of course we do. Everybody does. You don't have to be in study for years like I have. I've solved a lot of the problems that I had from corporate, from the loss of my dad, when my brother passed away, the breakdown in the marriage, because it was right between my eyes and I had to look at it and I had to handle it. And when we do handle it, it doesn't matter how long later, you feel different and you feel more peaceful. And yes, we all have it inside us, all of us.
But I think as an extension of that, just quickly, because I see we're out of time, I had this conversation with my mother last night about this drug. It's called Dupixent, and I have to inject it into my leg every other week into the other leg. And I really don't want to do it anymore. I never wanted to do it from the very beginning, but my facial eczema was so bad that it was just, I couldn't live the way it was. But I don't know that I need it anymore. My mom said, well, how do you know you don't need it? Because there's nothing wrong with your face. So then it's kind of like, I don't know. And so if you call the doctor, what do you think the doctor's going to say? You need to stay on it. So and I'm sure there are a lot of people out there like that saying, well, I don't know if I can give it up or not, because I don't want to go back to where it was there. So I don't know what the answer is.
Well, call me for a free consultation and I will help you find the root cause of the eczema, because it's very personal and it's not appropriate to do it in this forum, in this format, because it's so personal. And I'd love to help you with that, because it will be liberating for you. And that's how I work with my clients. It's so individually personal, because it's your life.
Fantastic. All right. I'll be calling you. Thank you. All right. As we close out this show, I'm going to spotlight each of you. Daphne, we've been running your banner, but what is the best way for people to get in touch with you, and who should contact you?
The best way is my email, which is my name, Daphne@DaphneDiluce.com. And the type of people that should contact me are people who are game changers, people who want to make a big dent in the world, whether that be a small one and a big one, and let's arrange a Zoom call or a conversation, and it all starts there. Thank you.
Thank you, Daphne. And by the way, when I ask these questions, I already know the answer. I could answer for you because I hear it in my sleep. Daphne Diluce. I'm the only Daphne Diluce. Anyway, but Caroline, the same question for you and for our friends who are listening on the radio. Who should reach out to you and how do they contact you?
Anybody that's stressed, anybody that's had some kind of depression, anxiety, stress, relationship issues, bereavement issues, loneliness, especially that in this time that we're in right now. Reach out if it's difficult because you're international. I do Zoom calls or Skype calls. So reach out by email, nomore@live.co.uk. My phone number is +44 0 if you're in the UK, 7523 120 189. Call, reach out for a free telephone consultation or Zoom consultation and let me help you.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having both of you here today. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you both again. Have a nice weekend, ladies. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. What a fantastic show and just great messaging from both of our presenters. I just want to share with you what we have coming up today onto the old clipboard. So Friday specials coming up, fashion, fitness, travel, and leisure. And our guest is Anthy. I hope I say this right. Anthy Giannapoulou. And Diane Floyd Babe is our co-host. Then Talking Heads coming up at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 8 p.m. British Summer Time. We have 3 presenters. Oh my gosh, it's going to be packed. Teuta, Caroline again, yes, and Ricky McKenna. And then coming up right after that, we have presenting Pet Psychic Amina, and Amina is actually my guest for today. And then finally, Stories of Hope, Inspiration, Overcoming Adversity, and my guest is Leanne Turner. Followed by that, I will be doing an 8-minute live on the power of listening. And today I take 2 of your questions and answer them as they relate to listening, relationships in business, or personal relationships. If you are interested in having your question answered, please do email me at Jacalyn@drjacalyn.com. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you here today. And thank you to our 2 dynamite presenters. We will see you again shortly at noon Eastern Time, 5 p.m. British Summer Time. Bye. Thank you.